Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. October kind of snuck up on me this year and Halloween is coming so fast, so I wanted to get this out here before spooky season was past. I just wanted to share this super fast, super easy little pattern with you that's perfect for markets, holiday, fall and Halloween themed markets. You could make one of these in probably 15 minutes or less, especially after you get familiar with the pattern. And there's a lot of different things you can do with them too. You can put a keychain on it like this one. This one is made with Big Twist Posh yarn. And I think the white might be the Loops and Threads Posh Pearl that was kind of the replacement from Michael's for that. This is the same pattern, but it's made with Brunette Blanket yarn, so it's a little bigger, but still pretty tiny. Would be perfect for a bag charm. And these ones I just put a chain on, and it can be a car hanger to hang up from a rear view mirror. These are they're adorable. They're so easy and fast to make. And if you're interested, the written pattern is actually part of my latest pattern that I have for sale on Etsy for my tug and pull candy corns. Maisie the candy corn, and there's a lot of variations with this one too. This is one that I made, and the pattern also includes a Frankie mod to make a Frankenstein candy corn, and these are so much fun to play with, and kids love these at markets as well. But I'm going to show you how to do these little mini candy corns, and we are ready to get started. This is a very basic tutorial with very few supplies needed. Obviously, you're going to need your yarn, and I'm using, I think this one is Big Twist Posh, and this one is the new Loops and Thread Cozy Cub from Michael's. It's very similar, and I think this one is the Loops and Threads Posh Pearl. So they're all very similar, pretty small yarn. You can make it with bigger ones, but the bigger your yarn gets, the bigger your candy corn will be. I am using this size 3.75 hook right here, and that will depend on your tension and how tight you crochet and what type of yarn you're using. I have these little tiny safety eyes. They're a 6mm, and even though they are safety eyes, I'm not going to be using the regular safety eye backing. I'm just going to glue those in. So if you're going to glue them, then you'll need some sort of glue. I'm going to use hot glue, but you could use like E6000 or other glues that are going to hold it in there. A stitch marker is helpful, not necessary, and obviously scissors. So there's really not many things that you need for this, and we can just jump right in. We are going to start with a slip knot on our hook with the yellow yarn. The yellow is the bottom of the candy corn, and I am going to chain 7. Now that I have 7 chains here, I'm going to go not in this first chain from the hook, but into the second one, and I'm going to make a single crochet into the side of that second chain. And then I am going to put a stitch marker in that single crochet because that will be the first stitch of my round. So I've done 1 single crochet there, and I need to do 4 more along here. So a total of 5 single crochets going down this chain. And I have to confess, I actually really hate crocheting into a chain. It's one of my least favorite things to do when I'm crocheting. I just feel like it's a pain. It takes a long time, but it works really well for this pattern. And it's only a couple stitches, so I can put up with it, I guess, for this one. Okay, so I've done my 5 single crochets there, and I just have 1 chain left here, and I'm going to do 3 single crochets into that same chain. And I usually do the first one on the one side of it and then kind of go around the knot and do the other 2 on the other side of that last chain stitch. So now once you've done 3, you've kind of turned the corner around the end, and we're going to work back up this other side of the chain. We're going to single crochet 4. And we should just have 1 stitch left right there, and we're going to increase into that last side of the chain stitch. And we should have a total of 14 stitches now in that round. So for round 2, we are just going to single crochet all the way around This particular skein of yarn is not my favorite. I don't know if you've noticed how some are better than others. This one doesn't slide quite as well. It's just a little bit slower and harder to work with. Okay, I'm on my 14th stitch right now, the last one in this second round, and this is where I'm gonna change colors on the last stitch. So I'm going to put my hook in and pull up a loop like I'm starting my single crochet, but then instead of finishing it with yellow, I'm going to grab orange and I will just pull that through to finish that stitch and make sure things are pulled about the same tightness as the other stitches so they match. Okay, so now I'm moving on to round 3. And again, I want a single crochet around, but for my very first stitch, instead of doing a regular single crochet with this orange, I'm actually just going to do a slip stitch there, but I'm still going to count that as my stitch and I will work into it when I come around. I just do that because it helps make the color change a little bit less visible, a little bit less of a jog in the colors. So that was, instead of 14 single crochets, technically we have 1 slip stitch and then 13 single crochets. For the next round here, we're going to single crochet 5 and then decrease. I'm going to put my stitch marker back in here. I didn't before because it was really obvious with the color change where my first stitch was. But I'm going to do 5 and a decrease and then repeat that and do the same thing again. Okay, that is round 4 done. And I'm going to pause here for just a minute. If you've noticed, I haven't cut this off yet. I like to go past that stitch and work into it before I cut it off and tie it, because sometimes if you cut that off where you've done your first slip stitch and tie it, then it's really tight and hard to work into on the next one. So I wait till I've gone around again and worked into it. So I can go ahead and cut that yellow one off because I'm done working with that. And just find the orange end here from where I color changed, and I will tie those together. And pull it snug, but not so snug that it pulls that stitch extra tight there. And if you look at it, this is going to be on the side of the candy corn. That color change is really hardly noticeable at all. Not much of a jog in the round. Now, if you're going to make a car hanger like this one, then this is where you need to stop and attach this chain part right here. So after you cut off the yellow yarn, if you want your chain to be yellow, then I would take my yellow here and I would chain between 50 and 60 chains. It really depends on the car that it's going to hang in and how low you want it, how long you want it. I think for this one, it was just in like a regular sedan, and I chained 60 on that one, and I think it seems like a pretty good length. But you could experiment with that. So if you're going to do that car hanger, then you do the chain, and then you're going to just tie it to this beginning chain, or this beginning yarn tail here, the yellow from where you started at the very beginning. You just go ahead and tie a knot there, and then your chain will be coming out the top, and you'll kind of work around it as you go. But I'm not going to add that on right now. That's just how you would do it if you're going to. And for the second candy corn on this little car hanger, you'd do the same thing. You'd get to this point and then tie the other chain to the yarn tail inside the other one. So let's continue moving on. I've just done round 4, and round 5 I'm just going to single crochet around again, and I only have 12 stitches in a round now because of the decreases on the last one. Okay, moving on to round 6. If you are using safety eyes here that you want to put backs on, this would be a good place to put them in, about right there, just because there's really not a lot of space here to work. I actually like to glue these in afterwards just because they're so tiny and the backs are so tiny they tend to go through the holes if I just try to put backs on them and leave them that way. So I'm going to glue mine on afterwards, but that will be up to you. If you're not gluing them on afterwards, round 6, put those in before you do round 6. And for round 6, we're going to start by doing 2 single crochets. There's 2, then a invisible decrease. Then we're going to do 4 single crochets. Another decrease, and we'll finish off this round with 2 more single crochets. Except that this very last one, this is where we're ready to switch to white. So that last single crochet of round 6, we're not going to finish it. We're going to do it just like I did with before, where I pulled up a loop with the with the orange, and then I'm going to grab my white and pull it through to finish that single crochet. And just like I did before also, we're going to do a slip stitch for the first stitch, but still count it and in our stitch count and work into it when we come around. And for this round, round 7, we are going to single crochet around after the slip stitch, so we'll have 1 slip stitch and 9 single crochets for a total of 10 stitches. This is where I'm going to stop and add just a small amount of stuffing. It really doesn't take much because it's so tiny. I haven't cut off my orange yarn yet, so I just kind of hold on to those, get them out of the way, and put a little bit down in there. And that might be just a little too much. And you can kind of shape it as you get it in there, and if you need to add a little bit more on the tip after you do the next round, you can do that. But once you've got your stuffing in, then we are going to do 3 single crochets and a decrease. And repeat that pattern twice on this round. So there's 1, 2, 3, and a decrease, and we'll repeat that. One, 2, 3, and a decrease. So we are down to only 8 stitches now in this round. And we're ready to cut off actually both of our yarns, but I'm going to start with the orange here from our color change, and I'm going to move this stitch marker out of the way. I'm going to tie off the 2 yarns from my color change first. and just kind of push those down inside. And then I'm ready to cut off the white yarn too, and leave maybe 4 to 6 inches. You don't need a whole lot here. And we're going to just pull that through from our last stitch and grab a yarn needle and thread it on here. And we're just going to go up through the front loops only of each stitch all the way around. And this is called an ultimate finish. And once you've gone through all of those, you just cinch it up tight, and that kind of makes the point on your candy corn there. And then you can put that down through the middle and come out another spot. You don't necessarily have to tie a knot here. I like to tie a knot just to make sure that it's not going to come undone. And just go through a stitch next to it like that, and then go through your loop right here. Pull that tight just to make it extra secure, and then come out somewhere else, and you can either pull that inside with a hook or just cut it off like that. And other than putting a face on it, your little candy corn is done already. It's just so fast and simple. I'm ready to put a face on my tiny little candy corn. You can experiment with where you want it. If you wanted to just put eyes on it, you can just do that. You can put them down lower, or if you like them up a little higher, you can do that. You just want to, if you're going to put a mouth on it, you want to leave room for a mouth. But I think I am going to put them down just a little bit lower, about right there. And like I said before, they're so tiny that I don't use the regular safety eye backs, but I am just going to, I kind of make a little bit of a hole. Nope, I flipped that one. I kind of make a little bit of a hole where I want it to be, and then I'll put a little bit of glue on there, or you could put it there, I guess, and just stick that in. And I use hot glue, but E6000 glue would work, or anything that's going to hold really sturdy, and you put those in. And then for the mouth, I found that worsted weight yarn is just a little bit too thick for how tiny this is, so I like to use embroidery floss. But if you don't have embroidery floss, you can actually take regular worsted weight yarn and kind of pull apart the strands and only use 1 or 2 strands of it, so it's a lot thinner. And to embroider the mouth, I start maybe on the bottom or somewhere a little ways away from where I want it. I'm just going to come up right there, and then I'm going to go back down and come out the same hole that I started. And it's really up to you if you want to leave him like that, just a straight mouth, you can do that. You can also make a little loop with your embroidery floss to hold it down like that. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to use just the tiniest little dab of glue right there, just to hold it kind of in a smiling shape like that. My face is now secured with glue here, a little bit there, and on the eyes. So I am just going to tie these 2 ends together down here, and then I can pull them inside to hide them. You can also cut them just a little bit shorter. That will be easier to pull them inside. So they came out the same hole, so once I tie them together, I can just go up. The yarn needle doesn't want to go through there. Just go up and grab that and pull it down inside like that. There's your cute little candy corn, and if you want to add a keychain to it, I will show you how I do that. You can use a lot of different kinds of clips or keychains. I just have a very simple basic one here that I'm going to show you with. And I like to use worsted weight yarn with this, but just because it's a lot sturdier, it doesn't break as easily as the plush. And so I think it will hold up better and last longer. So I'm going to start by just coming somewhere on the white here, and I'm going to come up to the side of this last row that I cinched up together, not right up through the middle of it, but to the side of it. And I'll pull my yarn through, leave a little bit of an end there for tying, and I'm going to go through this last part on my chain that I'm going to attach. And I'm going to go over the top of that top row and in this side, and then out through the same spot where I came before. And as you pull it tight, you can kind of position that right on top where you want it. And I'm just going to do that a few times. So go back through that loop, and then just in the same spot again. I like to do white just because it blends in with the top and you can't really see it. But now that I've gone through that, I think I went through it 4 times. I'm going to come down here and come out this same hole where I started with my other end. And I could have done with a lot shorter string there, but that's okay. And I'm just going to tie these 2 together in a nice secure square knot. And we'll cut those off short, and then just the same way I did with the other things, I will just pull it down inside. Like that. And we're all done. And there you have the cutest little keychain, perfect for your next fall market. It's so fast and easy. I could make a whole bunch of these really quick. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial today. If you make any of these and post them on social media, I hope you will tag me because I would love to see your creations. And also don't forget to go check out my Maisie the Tug and Pull candy corn pattern before your next fall market. The kids just love these and they're always a big hit. And there's so many different ways you can make them. Smaller eyes, bigger eyes. You can use bright yarn or kind of the more pastel muted yarn. I've also made different colors of the Frankie mod, and they're just all so fun and adorable and great to play with. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.